looking at what happens if we make regular deposits into an account. In this case, at the end of the month. Of course, you can make them at the beginning of the month. That just sort of changes the mechanics a little bit here. So in this case, at the end of every month, we're depositing $200 into an account that earns 6% APR, but this is going to be compound interest. So we're going to compound monthly. And then we're just going to kind of break this down month by month. Look at what happens here. So we will have a formula for the balance at a certain point in time. So after however many years or months, but this is at least kind of letting us know what's happening. So at the end of the first month, we haven't actually, right during that month, we didn't earn any interest because there was no account value. There was nothing in the account. So our very first deposit occurs at the end of this month. So we make a $200 deposit, and so our balance at the end of that month is just $200, right? So a little bit boring, nothing really happened in that first month. Great. We're going to get into slightly more interesting territory when we look at month 2. So by the end of month 2, that $200 balance we had, it was sitting in there for a month, so it was earning some interest. Now it's not earning 6% because we take that 6%, we have to think about how it's broken down per month. So the interest that we earned was, right, 6% of that 200, but not the full 6%. We got to divide by 12, right? So we take our APR over 12. Again, it's 12 because we're compounding monthly. If this were, daily or quarterly or something like that, we'd have to account for that here. But 1 month, here's our period interest rate, our monthly interest rate. And so we just do 0.06 for 6% divided by 12, so n is 12. And if we do this, we're going to get $1.00. And so, great, that's how much interest we earned during that month. We're still going to make a deposit at the end of the month of $200. So actually this column is just going to be 200, 200, right, every time. So our total balance, here's the part where we got to be mindful about what's happening for our total balance. So we had $200 in the account already. We earned $1 in interest, and then we added another $200 deposit. So it's these three values together that we're going to add up and say, cool, I've now got 200 plus 200 plus 1. So I've got $401.00 if you want to include that in the account at the end of month 2. So I've made 2 deposits by this point in time. I've put in $400, but that extra dollar came from a little bit of interest that we gained. Now, in general, if you want to kind of take that formula that we just did and figure out, well, how do I figure out the balance if I have things broken down like this? So the balance you can find, right, the new balance maybe we'll say, so the new balance is the previous balance, right, the previous month's balance, previous balance plus interest, right, whatever we gained. In this case, it was the $1, but it'll change depending on the month, plus the deposit, any additional deposits we make. All right, so we can kind of keep that as a general formula. I'm going to cut that off here so we don't confuse it. So that thing will work if we have a table broken down like this. Now, we don't always have all these individual pieces. All right, let's look at one more month though, just so we're okay with this process. So at the end of month 3, great. Well, we had $401 sitting in the account during this month. So those $401 are gaining interest. They're gaining interest in the same way that we did the last time, which is not the full 6%, so not 0.06, but rather 0.06 divided by 12. And if we do this, it's actually going to be a number that goes out to 3 decimal places. So we can round that thing. So if we round it, it will come out to $2.01. You can punch that in and double check that that makes sense with your calculator. But the rounded value is $2.01. So that's how much interest we gain that month. Now, of course, we know with compound interest that we're going to gain more and more money over time because right? We get to earn not just on our deposits, but on interest we already gained too. So it makes sense this number isn't just double this number, right? We did double how much we deposited, but we also gained a little bit more. Okay, we're still gonna make a $200 deposit. So then we say, great, well, how much is in the account now? Well, I had $401, right? That was the old balance, the previous balance. I gained $2.01 in interest, and then I made an additional deposit of 200. So in total, we should have something like $603.01. So we see that this number, this balance, isn't just going up by 200, right, just by our deposit amounts, but rather a little bit more than that because our interest is picking up as well. We could carry this thing through, but of course, if we want to look beyond this, it starts to become a little bit more tedious process once we get past like 5 or 6 months, right? So if you want to know what's your account balance in 10 years, 12 years, we're probably going to want a formula for that or some sort of calculator function for that. Good news is we have that.